Study Guide 14 for Course 2. Emma worked for 7 hours and earned $38.50. How much did she earn per hour? Well, let's take her salary, which is the $38.50, and that was her total salary, and divide it by the number of hours. And I'm going to go ahead and bring the decimal up. 7 won't go into 3, but it goes into 38 5 times. Subtract, you get 3. Bring in your 5. It goes into 35 again 5 times. And then 7 goes into 0 0 times. So she made $5.50 per hour. And if you multiply that by 7, you'll get the salary of $38.50. The ratio of boys to girls in the assembly was 5 to 4. This is a ratio problem, but notice in the second part, they don't give us boys or girls, they give us the total if 180 students were in the assembly. So when we make a ratio table, we're going to need 3 columns, 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. We've got boys, we've got girls, and we've got total. And I'm going to make my ratio and my actual. So the ratio of boys to girls is 5 to 4 with a total of 9. That's just the reduced fraction of how many. If there's 10 and 9, excuse me, if there was 10 boys and 8 girls, if you multiply these by 2, there would be 18 total. So we know the total is 180, and they want to know the number of girls. So we don't need this one. So we can set up our proportion. 5:9 is equal to x over 180. Now this is an easy multiplication if you want to go across, but I'm going to go ahead and do it by cross multiplication. You get 9x is equal to 180 times 4. 32, write it backwards, and get it 4, 5, 6, 7, 720. And then divide by 9, and x will be equal to 80, and they ask for the girls. If they ask for the boys, all you would have to do now is just subtract the 80 here, 80 girls, and that would give you 100 boys. Number 30, what is the mean of 12, 13, 18, 20, and 22? To find the mean, you need to add them all up and divide by, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I encourage you to add them as pairs. Instead of making a big old line and adding them, it's easier to find your mistake. So now I'm going to add the 18, and then the 20, and then the 22. It's just easier just to add your numbers 2 at a time. So the sum is 85, and we're dividing by 5. Before you get your answer, the smallest number you notice is a 12, and the largest is 22. The answer has to be between those two numbers. So we divide 5 into 85. It goes 1 time. It goes 7 times. So the mean is 17. What number is 25% of 96? Of its times, 25% is 25 over 100 times 96, and we're going to go ahead and put that over 1. Now, there's several ways to cancel. Probably the easiest way here is to go ahead and cancel the 25 and the 100. 25 goes both times. And then if you want to cancel the 4 into 96 now or divide it when you get through, it's going to go both ways. Let's go ahead and divide 4 into 96. It goes 24 times. My work got a little crowded there. And so I have 1 times 24 over 1 times 1. So what number is 25% of 96? And the answer is 24. Number 5, order of operation. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We'll just write that over here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, we have no parentheses. We have no exponent. So we're interested in any multiplication or division we come to, and it's whichever one you come to first. So I've got multiplication, and then I have division. And since they're separated, I'm going to go ahead and do the both. I've got 3 plus 9 minus 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now you add and subtract from the left, whichever one you come to first. So you've got 12 minus 1, which is 11. Okay, number 6. The equation y equals x plus 1 is a function rule. Copy and complete this table. So in the table, they're giving you the x's. That's your input, your independent variable, and then your y is your output. Well, the way we get our output is it tells us y is whatever x is plus 1. Well, let's take that x, which is 0, and add 1 to it, and we get 1 for our y. Again, let's put the 1 in for the x, and so y is 1 plus 1, which is 2. 2 plus 1, which is 3. And 3 plus 1, which is 4. Number 7, long division. And notice I'm dividing 4.5 by the 15 thousandths. So I'm going to come over here and write the 0.015 into the 4.5. Now you've got to be really neat with this because this number needs to be a whole number. So we're going to move it completely over 1, 2, 3 places. So I need to go 1, and then I'm going to have to add some zeros to go over 3 places and go directly to the top with your decimal. Well, 15 won't go into 4, but it goes into 45 3 times. And then subtract, you get 0. 15 won't go. Subtract, you get 0. 15 won't go. So your answer ends up being 300. Parentheses mean multiplication, and you can pair these up any way you want to, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take them like they're written. I'm going to take the 0.25 and multiply by the 0.8. Notice I have 3 decimal places. So I've got 5 times 8 is 40, and 2 times 8 is 16, plus 4 is 20. And with 3 decimal places, it's going to be 0.2 or 0.200. I'm just going to use the 0.2. That's just the reduced form of it. So now I need to take the 0.2 and multiply it, and I like the more digits on top, so I'm going to put the 0.05 on top. 5 times 2 is 10, 1, 0, and then 3 zeros across the bottom with 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. You can leave it like this, or you can write it as 1 1/100. You can take that last 0 off. Okay, number 9, we're adding fractions. Let's go over here and do it. 2 3/4 plus 2 1/6. Okay, we need a common denominator. And the smallest number that 4 and 6 will go into is 12. So we're going to multiply this one by 3 over 3, because 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 3 is 9, and this one by 2 over 2. 2 times 6 is 12, 2 times 1 is 2. And we're going to be adding, so we have 2 plus 2, which is 4, and 9 plus 2 is 11/12, and it's in lowest terms. Okay, again we have order of operation. We do have a grouping symbol here. That's that parentheses. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we're going to do it first. So we've got 100 minus 3 times 5. You still have multiplication, which has to be done before subtraction. So we've got 100 minus 15. And then if you know that one, great. If not, we can do a little borrowing. So we've got 5 from 10 is 5, and 1 from 9 is 8. And so 100 minus 15 is 85. 3/5 of the baker's cookies are chocolate chip, and I forgot to add the last note to this, and he has 80 cookies. He made 80 cookies, and 3/5 of them are chocolate chip. How many of the cookies are chocolate chip? So let's multiply 3/5 times our 80 cookies, and we can do a little canceling here. 5 goes into 80 one time, and 6 times. So we've got 3 times 16, which is 48 over 1 times 1. So we see that 48 of the 80 cookies were chocolate chip. A little over half. 3/5 is a little more than half. Well, half would have been 40. It was a little bit more than 40 of the chocolate chip. Now, what percent of the cookies are not chocolate chip? Well, we know 3/5 are chocolate chip. So 2/5 are not chocolate chip, and we need to write that as a percent. So let's multiply it by 100%. We'll section that off just a little bit. I tell you what, let's move this down. So 5 goes into 100 20 times. 2 times 20 is 40%. So 40% was not chocolate chip, then that meant 60% would have been chocolate chip. Number 12 and 13 are adding and subtracting integers. You can't subtract real easily, so you have to be very careful on this. To subtract an integer, you add its opposite. So let's go through and we'll put -3 plus The opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. Addition stays the same. And then again, we're going to add the opposite of the 1. Now we've got straight addition, and we can just go across. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. Plus negative 5 is negative 12, which I'm going to write over here. Plus positive 1 is negative 11. Now this one's straight addition. We can just go straight across. Positive 4 plus negative 3 is gave the answer away. Positive 7 plus negative 3 is positive 4. Positive 4 plus negative 2 is positive 2. And positive 2 plus positive 8 is positive 10. To write a fraction as a decimal, you want to divide the denominator into the numerator and add zeros where necessary. And you're only going to need one here. 5 goes into 4 0 times, and 5 goes into 48 times, and that's even. So as a decimal, it's 0.8 tenths. Number 15, write 0.15, which we know is 15 hundredths, as a simplified fraction. That just means we got to reduce it. So 15 hundredths would be 15 over 100. We can divide by 5 over 5, and we get 3 over 20. Number 16, 5 1/3 times 3/8. Can't multiply fractions if I don't have fractions. So let's make it, I'm going to change that to a dot. 5 1/3 is 16 over 3 times 3/8. And I would highly encourage you, even though it's not that difficult, to use canceling. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 3 one time. 8 goes into 8 one time. 8 goes into 16 two times. Look how much easier the arithmetic is. 2 times 1 over 1 times 1, which is just 2.